Happy weekend, traders. It is Matt and Jace with Empire Algorithmic Trading here to fill your ear holes with VWAP Vision Stock Talk Weekly Review.
It's where the volume weighted average price helps us make sense of the markets, Matt. So let's get right to it. Time for a little stock talk.
Weekly Review. It's Sunday, Jace, and that means we get to take a look back on this crazy wild week, try to dissect everything that happened. So let's go, Jace. What happened this week in the market?
Well, the averages drifted higher, right? The believe it or not, we're still in a red zone. Let's see, let me get a right board on. There we're still in a red zone for the S&P. Strong rally on Friday, up 0.8%. The Nasdaq Composite, pretty much all-time high territory for the Nasdaq, up 1%. All of these moves are basically right off the bat. If you look at the weeks too, the Nasdaq was up 3.8%. The S&P was up 2.5%. For the small caps, we're up 2.5% as well for the week, up just a little bit, kind of finding resistance at the VWAP. And then same thing with the mid caps. Mid caps actually haven't even broached their VWAP or their moving averages. And for the week, was pretty much flat, kind of reversed off the VWAP as well. So mid caps aren't looking great. Small caps aren't looking great. Nasdaq, new all-time high territory. S&P 500, right around the all-time high territory, trading above its VWAP. But both of those are right on the back of basically two, maybe three stocks. Apple had a huge week. Apple was up 13% for the week. That's a significant reason why the Nasdaq and the S&P were up so much. Then NVIDIA as well was up 5.1% for the week. That's another reason why these two averages were up big time. And I think Tesla as well had another good week as well. It was up almost 9%. Actually, Tesla flashed a little buy signal on Friday. So it's an interesting market when you're looking at the averages. It's very tempting to just disregard the red zone, right? Well, we're not really back in a green zone yet. And then if you look at the equal weighted indexes, the RSP, and then the QQEW, the equal weighted, they're not doing so good compared to the market cap weighted indexes. So it kind of masking a little bit. And then same thing with the small caps. And the mids and the smalls, right? They're kind of masking some distribution. The wild volatility from earnings stocks was just unreal, right? Some of them were up double digits, and a lot of them were down double digits. So it was an exhausting week for really just small drifting higher, right? Like you look at that, it's a really positive look, but overall, it was a very, very strangely taxing week,
Right.
particularly for a lot of growth stocks. Bonds just slowly drifted down, which is fine. Again, we just want to see bonds hold, right? We don't want to see them sell off, or even just continue to flash warning. But it's trading in this really nice range. So just stay there, bonds, right?
Right.
And
Please don't
of
go
course,
anywhere.
yeah. Then the VIX, the VIX came down like you would expect with the equities rallying up. So I think that's basically complacency. There's not a lot of fear about this right now, and that could be bad, right? It could be almost
Yeah.
everybody's a little too bullish, a little too
Right.
complacent. But I can tell you this: I was looking at the S&P, and there's a couple of charts that kind of look similar to where we're at a couple of times, and that's this right here looks very close. This right here was I think this is about 9%. Yeah, about 9% above the VWAP. Entered a quick little red zone, and then it kind of rallied up and it just kind of tested that high, came down a touch, and then it finally broke out, right? Now, we talked about when we entered this red zone that we're going to see a test of the high, and that's exactly where we're at. And then there was another one. I got to see if I can find it. It was way back here. Oh, no, I don't know if I. Yeah, I
We're
thought
going
I put
hunting.
one. There was another time, and I think it might have been, yeah, about right here.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, if you just throw a dart at this chart and find it, I'm going to be so impressed.
Yeah, right. So I had to get a little closer, but it's very similar, right? Coming out of a consolidation, here we are. It's about Again, 9% above the VWAP. So you got this little red zone, and then it kind of came up, tests the high, tests the averages, and then it breaks out, and then off to the races. So I'm kind of thinking that this is where we're going to be. Is I don't know if we're going to be like kind of like this area here. It all depends on, truthfully, it depends on what the smalls and the mid caps do.
Yeah.
If they start breaking out, uh, what I don't want to see is the divergence, right? Is where it's just the mega caps pushing the S&P 500, because then it's really difficult because the breakout stocks that we're looking for will just continue to get crushed.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, your averages are rolling, and you're going, what? Why am I not gaining any action here? So it's an interesting place to be in. The other thing I want to say is if we do get a green zone, the number of green zones that are fake outs are basically zero. Most of the green zones do present a nice little pop once they hit. So, like I said, it might test the 10-day moving average if we do get an update tomorrow. So again, the green zone tomorrow would be is if we rally up tomorrow. If we trade down tomorrow, we're just looking for 2 consecutive days above the anchored VWAP. So as far as the anchored VWAPs go, the Nasdaq, we're going to move that anchor since that's the new all-time high. The small caps continue to trade below their VWAP, and then the mid caps are also trading below their VWAP, and then the
Yeah.
S&P just cleared the
All right.
VWAP. So we'll see if that confirm. But that's it for the general markets. That's the general mood. It's just a little complacent, kind of drifting higher, but there's enough there to warrant some caution.
That's awesome. Well, and the next part we always like to talk about in our weekly stock talk or even our daily stock talks is some of the major movers and what they did. The fun thing in the week is we get a few days of data instead of just seeing what happened overnight. So all of these are stocks that have been sent to us by our algorithm and our algorithmic daily buy or sell signal. So whether good or bad, we like to bring them to you and show you what these movers have been doing. You can get access to those same algorithmic daily buy and sell signals over at our Patreon, patreon.com/empire algorithmic trading. And we also have some videos on there telling you a little bit how Jace and I use these sell and buy signals in our daily trading. So Jace, that being said, what are the movers moving to?
It was an interesting day on Friday. We're just gonna kind of there's a lot to go through. EVLV was a recent breakout. It was up 4.4% on Friday.
Wow.
Pretty good look there. Road construction, it was a
Wow.
fail breakout. Continued to sell off. Massive earnings moves. Right. We'll see if this can
Wow.
hold. Big strong earnings move might retake the failed breakout. We'll see. Microvast is finding support right where you would look for it to find support. Rallied big on earnings on Friday. It was up 7%. It's not ready to buy yet, right? It's still on the
Yep.
intraday basis. It kind of found resistance at the 20-day moving average, but it
Yep.
still has the clear resistance at the. We're just going to put some arrows here. Clear resistance at the VWAP that it found twice, right?
Yep.
Both times right here and here. Oh, I already put arrows there. But anyhow, there's clear resistance. We're gonna wait for the stock to get above that, right? We want the buyers to be clearly in control. We want all resistance to be passed. But it's nice to see where the support is. That's another thing we look for is where are the buyers coming in at? And to get support at the VWAP from this previous base that it had a really nice run out of, that's a good look for that.
Well, and real quick on
ISSC,
that microvast chart,
yeah.
I do find it a little hilarious that you can't read the volume at all because of that one day that was so mega
Oh yeah,
that you
right,
can't
right
even
there.
see
Yeah.
anybody else's
It's so
volume.
let's zoom in a little bit. A nice little spike
There we
on
go.
the volume. But yeah, that's a pretty good one, Matt. I like that. Innovative Solutions. This was our freebie for the week. It had a nice 6.6%. This was a nice breakout for us back down here. Just shook me out. It
Yeah.
shook me out. It shook me out on this day. It broke the 20-day intraday. I sold it. Ended up rallying and it just flashed another buy signal and it's looking really good. This is a good looking chart. Astera Labs, it has also had a nice day on Friday. This is one of the
Yeah.
few that has followed through after its earnings. It was up 4.9%, 5% on the day. And then Reddit, it's also, I just highlighted this one because this is also one of the few that has followed through from its earnings gap. So
Rolling on it. Yeah.
not a lot of follow through going in on the earnings. Like take a look at Shopify, right? Shopify gapped up and it hasn't really followed through. Transmedics, same thing, had a nice strong gap up, tried breaking out above the VWAP and has since come back down. Carvana, again, similar pattern, big strong gap, absolutely no follow through, right back down into its base. Same thing with Roblox. Roblox is holding right up above its 10-day moving average, but it's just, again, no follow through there. Groupon. Now this one, I brought this one up for a couple of reasons. One, look at that, no follow through on that big earnings gap compared to when it broke out before on a big earnings move, it continued to move higher, right?
Right.
Well, this was right when the market was coming out of that bear market. This was right
Yep.
close to the green zone, start of the green zone. This is right when we're a little questioning, right? Like we aren't sure what's going on. The market's showing a little, it's looking like it's a little tired, and you can see that in the growth stocks basically all around, right? I mean, how can you complain? I mean, of course, Roblox is going to kind of pull back a little bit, right? It's up so much. Same thing with Groupon. So a lot of these stocks have to go through a little bit of a consolidation before they can go. What we're looking for is what the algo finds next, right? We want to see
Yep.
what's basing out, what is making a good pattern right now. As far as what's happening now, we're still
Oh,
seeing some fails. SMR, failed breakout, continue to sell off hard on Friday, down
wow.
11.9%. TSSI, which failed basically the very next day after its breakout, and it followed through. It gapped down massively on Thursday on its earnings, like 20 some percent. It followed through on that by another 8%. Now, looking
Wow.
at this chart, what I want to see here is this is where buyers should step in, right? It
Of
broke,
course.
it's right at the VWAP from its previous breakout. This is where buyers are going to want to step in and say, all right, this thing had a good, it had a sell the news kind of earnings report. It was up massive, sold off hard, right at the average. This is where buyers are going to come in. And it's actually a very good potential setup for a nice old fashioned double bottom. So, I mean, it's a pretty dramatic gap. So I might just be grasping at straws here and hoping against hope. But it's an interesting little chart pattern there.
Yep.
Snow also continued to
Ouch.
flash the 1-day fail signal. I bought in on this one. I was kind of excited about it. Nice potential
Huh.
breakout, and it
Nice
just
setup.
crashed the next day. Got smoked pretty good, and so I sold out of it that morning, and then it just continued to sell off hard. But on the flip side is what's working, right? What has been working this week? We had a few breakouts, and it's the gold stocks. The gold stocks are the ones that have the follow through, which is another thing where it's like, okay, is this another defensive play? Last time we saw this kind of action was literally the beginning of February, or I'm sorry, the end of February, beginning of March last year. And so, CDE had a nice strong week. Triple Flag, a nice strong follow through on its breakout. Wheat and precious metals, same thing, nice strong follow through. And then AEM, that as well, a nice strong follow through on its breakout. So the breakouts that are working are kind of defensive by nature. The breakouts that are getting crushed are our growth stocks, right? And so we're looking for the growth stocks. So it's interesting. One, it's interesting that gold matches a lot of our growth criteria. Then a lot of
Right.
these gold stocks hit. So that's kind of funky in its own right because you really wouldn't think gold is a growth opportunity, but these stocks are just rolling really good. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about red zones and why we pay attention to red zones and why we try not to trade. And it's not just because of the probabilities. And so this is the Innovator IBD 50. For those of you who don't know, the IBD 50 is a list of the 50, according to IBD 50, best growth stocks that are on the market. And this fund basically buys them. It just buys those stocks when it's on the list, builds a portfolio around it, and it's an ETF built around that. So what this does is it's forced to maintain exposure to the market, and it continues to buy stocks. Well, look what happened to the fund as it was continuing, as it was forced by its rules to continue to buy stocks during the bear market. Got absolutely devastated, and it
Yep.
has yet to even come close to recovering. We saw this happen in our historical testing when we were first building this model, and we were kind of seeing how does this play out long term. And we were running some historical, basically mock portfolios. And we found that it was blowing the market away up until the 2021 bear market. And then it just got ate up and it never fully recovered. So that's when we instituted hey, what if we what if we don't buy when the S&P is below its VWAP and we only buy when it's above the VWAP, hence the green zones and the red zones. And we found that drawdown was minimal. And then as the market recovered, the index, the fake account ended up recovering faster. And we ended up outperforming the S&P 500 over 5 years just basically by not buying during the red zones. So that's why we take that.
Significantly outperformed.
What was that?
Significantly outperformed.
significantly outperformed it. So, that's why we pay attention to red zones. That's why we get cautious. Why we wrap ourselves in caution, in yellow flags whenever we see a red zone. It's not that I believe we're going to, or even the hard data, right? The hard data from the economy is starting to show weakness. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's starting to show signs of stagflation. But the market has already priced that in. That's exactly what this was all about, right?
Mhm.
The numbers, the economy that we're seeing now was already right here, right? What we're seeing, what we're looking for is what's next, right? What happens after this? And the whole market is betting. The whole market is working right around AI. It's all AI related. It's electricity related. It's data center related. It's
Semiconductors.
semiconductor related. If you can generate electricity, because electricity is basically the new oil,
Hmm.
and that's the whole market right now. And so you have to. When I was looking at the best stocks, I have a screen where I just run the best seven, the top 7% with earnings per share or earnings growth of 30% or more, top 7% of the market and their price movement. It's all AI and energy and construction related. It's amazing. There's a couple other names, like Reddit, which is kind of a media company. There's some other ones but it's predominantly AI stocks. So that's what's lifting this market. That's where the institutions have modeled everything out, and that's where they're seeing the growth coming. And so that is a real thing. And so if we do hit a green zone tomorrow, it's take it for granted, like take it real, right? Trust it.
Yep.
It's the market telling you, but it just might be a very selective stock picking. We got to pay attention to some good looking bases. We're not just buying anything, and it has to be pretty much AI and energy related in order to work, because pretty much anything else has just been getting crushed. So it's a very exciting time to be watching the market. I love it. I've got a good pile of cash just waiting for if we do hit a green zone and we do get a second leg to this run. We're going to be prepared. We've done a lot of analysis that we're going to talk about during Arrow review for our Patreon subscribers. We're going to show good bases, bad signals, and what to do when you see that. And so I'm really excited about what we're seeing. There's some interesting stocks setting up. There's a lot of bases that are kind of late stage signals. And so that's why I personally want to see a little bit of a correction here. And I mean like 5%, right? To knock some of these stocks down, break some trends and get a nice base built up again. So then we can get a really good leg higher and putting
Right.
some more money to work. So it's all a process, but I'm still very bullish. I'm just looking for the green light. I'm just looking for the probabilities, and I'm just waiting for the right time to put capital at risk.
Exactly right. Well, that is it for us with our weekly review. Thank you very much for watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify. Make sure to like and subscribe, and also rate and review us on those. Help us bump up there. Follow us on socials: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, X. We like to do some freebies, probably do a weekly freebie today. Also some trader tips in there when it comes to managing your portfolio and things that we see, common errors that a lot of traders make, and how to avoid some of those pitfalls. If you like what you see and you want to learn more, check out our website, VWAPvision.com, VWAPvision.com, to see who we are, why we do this, where we came up with this formula. And if you'd like access to it and those daily algorithmic buy and sell signals, subscribe over at Patreon. Patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading, where you get access to those signals. You get access to some educational videos. You also get access to just a cool group of traders to say, hey, how's it going? What's going on? What are you trading? What did you win with? What did you lose with? And where did you set that stop loss so you didn't completely lose your butt? That's the fun one. So, yeah, subscribe over on our Patreon. Other than that, Jace, I'm really excited for Arrow Review. And happy trading, buddy.
Happy trading, buddy. We'll see you during Arrows just a little bit.
Yeah.